Okay, guys, we are live. This hangout is live. Welcome to the Backbones Webathon 2008, everyone. This is Reveca Torres. Aileen, I'm doing a sound check. Can you guys hear me? Okay, cool. Well, my name's Reveca Torres. I am the founder and the director of Backbones, which is an organization that helps people with spinal cord injuries and similar disabilities to connect with their communities after they have had a spinal cord injury. And we do that by creating events and experiences that create awareness, but also get people out and doing some fun activities. Some of the activities that we often host are things like our annual 5K, film festivals, art festivals, scavenger hunts. We've had some wine tastings, networking nights, sports outings, and all of these with the goal of getting people out in the community and just doing activities, meeting other people, and being out in the community. And I'll give you guys all a brief history of how Backbones was started and basically what our goals are. Backbones was started back in 2009 by myself, my two sisters, and a friend. And originally, our purpose was to do peer support and matching people one-on-one to find peer support. And the reason that I was inspired to do this or to start this organization is from my own personal history. I am a person with a spinal cord injury. I was injured at the age of 13 in a car accident in Mexico with my entire family. And so after I came home and I did my rehab, I had support from friends and family, but I hadn't really met other people like myself. And at the age of 13, a young teenage girl, as you all know, many people that have injuries are mostly male. And so it was hard to find another girl, and especially at my age. I did get paired up with a peer mentor. The hospital found me a peer mentor, but he was a much older gentleman than myself. And I think he might have been in his 50s at the time. And I really didn't have much to connect with him. Honestly, didn't want to talk to him. He did provide a lot of good information and resources for my parents and my family, but you know, it was difficult for me to do that, to connect with him. So, you know, as I met other people when I got to college that had spinal cord injuries as well and other disabilities, I started seeing people that were doing all these sports. They were dating, they were traveling, and just doing a whole bunch of really cool things. That I found a community, and I found people that I could connect to, that I could talk to, that I didn't have to explain what life with disability was like. And it felt very comfortable. And I felt like I had found people that understood me. So it was a really important moment and very impactful for me. But I also was hearing, you know, as I interacted with people, very similar reactions that, you know, after their injury, you know, during the hospital, they maybe had a lot of support from doctors, from, you know, other healthcare professionals. But after they got home was when things kind of really hit them. And same with myself. When I got home, after rehabilitation, things became real, and it was much more difficult to find the resources and to find people to talk to. that really stuck in my mind. How could people find the resources that they needed and talk to the people that people that they could relate to after they had gone home, after they were now back in their own environment after the hospital. And that was a long story, but that's how that's what inspired me to start this organization. And like I said, our mission is to provide peer support and to provide opportunities for connection for people in their communities. Why is it important? I think that Backbones is important because we are finding, or we are creating these connections and creating these spaces, and oftentimes there are people in areas of the country and of the world that are feeling really isolated, and I think that it is really, really important to be able to find people that you can relate to and learn from them. It's really, about learning, about getting motivated to be out there and live a quality of life that you desire to live. And so, my goal is to provide those opportunities through events and through events where people are present physically, talking to each other, communicating with each other, but also through events like this that, technology has really made it easy for us to connect, through Facebook, through Skype, through FaceTime. And oftentimes, when I connect or match someone, they're not necessarily in the same location. They don't live in the same city, but they're able to communicate and find that support over the phone or email or Facebook or whatever, whatever it is that is the best way to communicate. So it really is, these events really benefit people. And so I'm very excited today because this event, this webathon, it's a 10-hour event starting right now, 10 a.m. Central, and it's going to go through 8 p.m. this evening. I will have, I think we have 34 guests, which is really awesome. And it's like people from all over the country that are doing some awesome things that I'm really excited to share. And I admire all of these people. They're just doing some awesome things. Like, I follow them on their social media accounts. Some of them I've met in person. Some have only been over the web, and others we just kind of are going to be connecting for the first time today. So it's going to be cool. And again, the goal for this event is to share information, to share resources with people, and to really reach out to all of you people who might be feeling isolated in your communities, and hope that you can find a resource today somewhere near you, or someone that you can connect to online if that's the best way to do it. Because we really are a pretty awesome community of people all over the world. And I think it's just great that we're all coming together today. And another purpose of today is also fundraising. Our goal for the month of September, which is Spinal Cord Injury Awareness Month, is September. And so we had made a goal of $10,000 to raise, and I believe we are at close to 7,000 as of this morning. So please help us reach 10 today if you are interested in making a donation. It's really easy. You can check in the description of this video is the link for you to the campaign. But another very easy way to do it is through text. So if you pull out your cell phones and open up a text message, and you can send a text to 71777. So that's 71777. Open a text, and in the body of that text, you want to type in the word backbones. That's one word, BACKBONES. And when you hit send, it's going to send you a link, and that link will take you directly to the campaign. And you'll be able to see how much money has been raised so far, who's donated, and you can also make your own donation as well. There are really multiple ways for you to make a donation throughout the day. The video on the right-hand side of the video, there's also a little link where you can donate through YouTube, and you can also donate through Facebook and directly to our website. So it would be awesome if you are able to, if it's within your means to make a donation, that'd be awesome, because it really, all those funds go directly to creating these programs that I just talked about. Like I said, we've had 5Ks. We just had our 10th annual 5K, which was awesome, that people participated from all over the country and their communities. We've done yoga workshops in 3 different cities this past year, connecting instructors and people with disabilities and having them try yoga for the first time. Dance workshops. We're also growing our ambassador program, and that means, you know, we're finding representatives in different cities, or people that want to be representatives in different cities and host their own events, or that want to represent us as a social media ambassador as well. So there's a lot of opportunities for you to get connected, whether it's online, whether it's an event, if we have an event in your area, or if you have an interest in becoming an ambassador as well. So I think that's all I wanted to cover in terms of history of Backbones. That was a long history, but it was necessary, so you guys know what's going on for the rest of the day. We're going to have people from all different backgrounds and that are doing really cool things in our community, our spinal cord injury community. I want to say a thank you to I think you can see a little extra square down on the bottom of the video, and that's Aileen Rangel. She's our behind the scenes person. So she's chosen to be hidden today, of course, but she's back there. So I want to give her a big shout out, because she'll be helping us throughout the whole day, and a big thank you. And please be patient with us. If we have any tech issues, we will you know, make sure that we'll send out, you know, if we end up getting dropped or something, we'll send out a new link on Facebook and Twitter and everything, so that people can keep following along if we do get dropped or need to restart a Hangout or something. Cool. I do want to introduce to you guys our very, very first guest. And she is someone that I think I've known for a few years. So, and it's going to be good, because it's early in the morning. I think we need to like get some good energy, some good vibes going. So Ania, do you want to unmute yourself so you can join us?
Okay, I think I got it.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good, good, good.
Awesome. Well, I'm so happy that you are joining us today. And like I said, I'm really excited that you're our first guest, because we need some good energy and good vibes and get everyone moving and excited about the day.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So yeah, like I said, we've known each other for a few years, and I think we met online, actually.
Yeah, I think it was Facebook. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like some photo, like you were doing some photo exhibition or something, I remember.
Yeah, when we were doing our Reinventing the Wheel exhibit. That was about 4 years ago, so it's been a while. But I follow everything that you do, and I really love, like, you know, all your posts and videos. You're always very active, and I would love for you to share a little bit about that, about everything that you do with people. If you want to give us a little bit of background of who you are, where you're from, and what you do.
Sure. So hi everyone, my name is Ania. I am currently, well, what do I do? I have a lot of hats, but wear a lot of hats. But primarily, the reason I'm here today is to talk about kind of like my fitness journey. I'm one of those people that tends to do things kind of outside the box, and I fell into this community of dance fitness because I have a degree in kinesiology, and I was searching for a quality like cardio workout for people with physical disabilities, and I fell upon UJAM and fell in love, and that's currently what I'm doing right now. I'm a UJAM fitness instructor in San Diego. And yeah, other hats I wear are I'm a grad student in voc rehab. And yeah, that's primarily what I'm doing right now. So,
how has your experience been in, navigating school and grad school? Has that been pretty?
Not too bad. I think, living in San Diego, it's a very disability friendly community, first of all, and then vocational rehab is very disability specific. And so as far as getting support, it's been really, really easy. The faculty have been amazing. My colleagues, incredible. It definitely is a route, it's grad school, so it's a route that, takes a lot of grit to navigate. But it's so rewarding. I really will always advocate for a higher level education, if that's something that you're wanting to do,
Okay. What about like your fitness journey? I've seen you post stuff about like doing boxing and, and I think a lot of people struggle with finding something to stay, a way to stay fit and to stay healthy, and really think about their bodies as that their bodies can be a healthy body, despite having a disability or an injury.
Mm-hmm.
So how have you been able to?
Well, so yeah, a lot of the things that I do, so one thing I've always really kind of imagined and dreamed of is like bridging the gap between, the able-bodied community and the disability community, and just kind of bringing everyone together. And so, like, for example, when I did boxing, it was a regular gym, not adapted. But, actually I went into the studio supporting another friend of mine, and the instructor came to me and was like, "Are you joining or are you watching?" And I kind of like had this like, maybe I should join. And I did. And, and I found that like the more you put yourself, well, for me, the more I put myself out there, with the community of people that may not understand, the disability community, you're building relationships, you know what I mean? And then you're creating more avenues for fitness, like with the kickboxing, like the studio is accessible, you know, like it's all it is a flat floor with, you know, bags or whatever equipment you need. It's just navigating the able-bodied community and, you know, and building that relationship and building on that. And yeah, so like my goal really is to like find something that like would be accessible to like wheelchair users. Like, you know, like if you go to a gym and you want to do cardio and you can't fit into the, you know, fit in between the machines, you know, what are you going to do? What else is out there? So I really want like this, like, okay, how can we do this creatively? And, you know, one of those ways was to just kind of combine forces with both communities. And same with UJAM Fitness. We have a pretty large network of instructors, like thousands of instructors from all over the world, from Korea to, you know, to Cali to everywhere. And I think I'm one of 2 instructors that's a wheelchair user, you
Wow.
know, and so, you know, it's something that I'm really passionate about, just kind of bridging that gap and allowing people with disabilities to have a outlet that's accessible to them, and then building on relationships and things like that.
So tell us all, for those who don't know, what is UJAM?
Yeah, so UJAM Fitness it's a cardio workout, dance cardio workout, similar to Zumba, kind of, that incorporates world beats with an urban flavor. So in a UJAM Fitness class, it's typically 60 minutes, and you'll see things from like K-pop, Korean pop, to Chinese pop, to, you know, reggae, to like all kinds of music from all over the world that's set, you know, in a like urban style type beat. Yeah, that's basically the class format. But then there's another aspect to it which I really love, and it's kind of like the mission. The 4 words that are used for UJAM are peace, love, unity, and acceptance. And it's basically, the premise is to bring people from all over, from different cultures, different backgrounds, you know, different weights, different, whoever you are, you know, the person that you are now is good enough, that kind of thing. So that's the energy and the spirit of UJAM, is who you are now is good enough.
I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been a huge blessing in my life. So love it.
So I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Here you are.
Can we see some moves, or can we see something?
Sure.
Demo of this.
Okay. So I have a question about that though. Can I play some music? Because it's harder for me to do it without.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Let me find one that I really like. It should be just right there. Hold on. Here, let me just search it. Okay, so this is one of my favorites. It's a Korean pop song called Mic Drop by a band called BTS. Let me just get it really quick.
And I see Wes down there, our next guest. So if you want to join in on the dancing, Wes.
That should work. Oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed. Okay, no, I got this. All right. Can you hear it? No. Can you hear that? It's like
Very little, but yeah, you can hear it.
okay. Let me, okay, I'll be part of it. Can you see me? Hold on.
All right, yeah, Wes. Hope you guys are joining us out there if you're watching this.
Okay.
Awesome. So do you like do like 20 minutes of this, or like how does it go? Like, because I'm sure you got an awesome workout.
Yeah, so a typical class is like 60 minutes long, and it's formatted to like like for you to have a good quality cardio workout. And so like you'll have a warm up that's like typically like 10 to 14 minutes long, and then you know, the intensity increases as you go, and then when you reach the bottom you have like 2 songs which kind of bring your heart rate down. So that's kind of the premise of how the classes are formatted. And you know what I typically do, you know, I'm an instructor. The the choreo is set, you know, the choreographers are all able-bodied, and so when I'm watching them, I'm trying to like figure out how I can make it so that it fits for bodies like ours, you know what I mean? And you know, I also have in mind, like, you know, what my ability level may not be what my students' ability level is, and so there is a room for creativity in that, but also kind of just keeping with the choreo and, you know, the way the moves are supposed to look, but also allowing you to do what your body can do, you know. And yeah, so yeah, it's been really, really fun.
Well, that's awesome. It sounds like it's a really versatile way of like, it's just a way that people can move and get active without having to think about figuring out a machine or adaptive equipment. And like you said, you go into the room and you are whoever you are that day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Your body can do that day.
So, you know, I don't think that I have ever been a part of a community that's been so warm and loving and accepting. You go to a class or you go to a big like UGEM fitness event and you're literally embraced with like hugs and love, and people want to know your story. People really want to know like where you come from, and you know, you just don't feel that like, you don't feel like an outsider at all. Yeah, it's really, really great. So I'm really, really glad that I stumbled upon it, and you know, I'm hoping that the network can grow and that there's a bigger network of students and instructors, you know, with all types of disabilities. You know, I think that would be really, really cool to see, you know, because it's new, you know.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. But,
well, that's awesome. Thank you for that little demo and for telling us about that and for sharing a little bit about yourself. If it's okay, we'll put your social media handles on the chat, or Aileen will put it on the the chat for the video on YouTube. So if anyone is interested in finding out more or where they can do that in their community, they can reach out to you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's perfect.
Well, thank you so much. And thanks for being our first guest.
Great. Thank you so much.
Have a great day. Bye. All right. Hi, West. Oh, I think you need to unmute yourself.
Okay, hi.
There we go.
Can you hear me? And I have my earbuds in, but I'm not sure if it's easier to speak through the microphone.
You sound fine.
Okay.
Yeah, sounds good. How are you?
Good. Yeah, I just got done with let's see, I'm in Portland, so it's 8:30. So I did a morning workout, not dancing, but cranking. So
oh, awesome.
Yeah. So.
That's that one little bike, right? That you go really fast.
Well, I don't go really fast, but it's like a stationary or hand ergometer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like an indoor trainer for hand cycles. So
awesome.
Yeah.
And where do you do that at?
In my garage.
Oh, nice. That's nice.
Yeah, in my garage, or there's a university here in Portland that has a really amazing accessible gym, and most people. So this is a shout out to anyone that's watching from the Portland area. But if you have a membership with Adaptive Sports Northwest, you can use the gym for $50 a year, which is pretty amazing.
Wow. And that's for Portland State University?
Yeah, right. Portland State University. You have roots here, right?
Yes, I used to live there, and I did go to Portland State for a little bit.
Woot, woot. Shout out.
Well, please introduce yourself, and I'd love to. I mean, I know you a little bit, but I would love for you to tell people a little bit about who you are and your story and what you do.
All right. Yeah. Well, first of all, I just wanted to say thank you for including me in this conversation. I think this is really awesome, innovative approach to building connections and highlighting the work that you guys do, and just learning about what's going on in around the country. So that's really cool, and I feel really honored to make it on the docket. So my name's West Livaudais, and I had a spinal cord injury 5 years ago. That unfortunately is often the case, always the case, I guess. I had a spinal cord injury through a hospital infection. So I went to the hospital because I had a hip surgery. I had broken my hip because I got hit by a truck, and I woke up after my surgery and was very sick, and it turned into an epidural abscess that eventually paralyzed me. So while that was 5 years ago, I'm or coming up on 5 years, and I'm really excited to be at the five-year mark. It feels like a chapter is closing.
Good.
So, yeah. And then about a year after being injured, I started meeting up with some other guys that had spinal cord injuries, and I think what happened is we all just wanted to continue to meet up. So I made a Facebook group so we could keep each other posted on when and where we would meet up. And it turned out that we decided to meet the same day of the month, same time and the same place. So if you could make it, you could make it. If you couldn't make it, that's fine. And it just grew. And out of that was kind of the birth of Oregon Spinal Cord Injury Connection. And what I'd say about this, the name of this organization is that I Googled for support group and on Facebook, and I was just typing in every combination of words that someone else might look up, because I was like, there's got to be something. There's no way that there's not a group or some kind of, and so I chose those words, which are really long, because I think other people might might try to look for support. So that's kind of
really
a little bit about
approach. Really smart approach on how to like set up your name. I hadn't even thought of that, but yeah.
Yeah. So so we meet. I think the center, the core of Oregon Spinal Cord Injury Connection is connection, and we meet the last Monday of every month in Portland, Oregon, at the Lucky Lab from about 6 to 9, and our meetup is called Wheel Connect. So it's a pun, as in we will connect. And out of that has grown other things like we've had educational forums, a support group, and kind of like a newsletter. So and the organization's all volunteer. So I have a day job and try to recruit help doing stuff from time to time. So
yeah.
Well,
I've actually been to one of your Wheel Connects when I was in Portland a while ago, and I was super impressed with how many people go. Like it is really hard to get people out to events, and I swear there was probably like 50, 60 people in that room that day. There was just a lot of people. And so that's really awesome that you've been able to create this community and people find value in it. And how easy, like, let's get together at a bar and just hang out.
Yeah, eat pizza and talk. I don't know why so many people show up. There's definitely a need for connection. I have a public health background, and one of the largest indicators or social determinants of health is connection. Being able to make friends and know that you're heard and understood, and you can kind of share your challenges with other people that have had kind of a similar experience. And so I don't know. I think it's a very easy entry, showing up to a pizza parlor and hanging out. So
it's relaxed.
Very relaxed.
There isn't that pressure of like you have to share. You have to go to like a support group or something, and you have to share everything that's on your mind. Not that that's a bad thing either, but just some people, it's just more relaxed than it.
Yeah, no, you're right. We do have a support group, and it's not as well attended as pizza and beer. And then the other thing is that there's a lot of people that, maybe they weren't athletic prior to their injury. And so wheelchair basketball or wheelchair anything is not only expensive, but that's just not their jam. So I think that's some of the reason why the meetup is well attended. It's just fun to hang out with other people.
Yeah. Can you tell me a little bit about the community workers program that you're working on?
Yeah. So as part of my internship, I developed a community health worker program, and in Oregon, it's a little bit complex, but in Oregon, community health workers are they're a thing, and a community health worker can be reimbursed through Medicaid. And I envision a community health worker in this program. They would have a spinal cord injury. They would be thriving and well connected and in the community. And through this program, their time as a peer would be reimbursable. And that's pretty amazing because some people, they don't want to have a full-time job because they don't want to threaten their benefits. But through a program like this, they can, if they're an established kind of member of the community, and they're trained. In Oregon, you have to go through 90 hours of training to become a certified community health worker with the Oregon Health Authority. Then you can be hired by a health system or by a clinic or by Oregon Spinal Cord Injury Connection to reach out to other folks and that have been newly injured. And so a community health worker kind of does all kinds of things, but the premise is that they reinforce positive coping mechanisms. They extend health education that has started in the acute rehab facility, and they reinforce skills for independence. And by doing that, the reasons health systems are buying into this is that it reduces secondary health conditions like UTIs, pressure injuries, anxiety that actually cause people to be re-hospitalized. And one more little factoid is that there's some literature on this that somewhere between 30 and 40% of newly injured people are re-hospitalized within the first 12 months of their injury due to either a UTI or a pressure injury. Wow. So this is where a community health worker, someone that has native knowledge of the acute rehab setting, of community living, can encourage someone to say, hey, make sure you're doing your pressure injuries, make sure your wheelchair fits you well, make sure you're going to Wheel Connect and getting the support that you need from other people. So that's a little bit of it. I'm pretty excited about it, and I think it's a good model for Oregon.
That sounds amazing. I think a lot of people leave the hospital with just the basics of, how to get back in your house and, do your, the very basic stuff. But yeah, having someone to support you kind of along the way, especially that first year where you're like, what the heck is going on with my body? Like,
right. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
it's awesome.
And I think, so I've not really struggled with it, but I'm like, what's the difference between a peer mentor, which there are peer mentor programs around the country. United Spinal has one, and the Rees Foundation has one, and there are local ones as well. What's the difference between a peer mentor and a community health worker? And I think Oregon is a unique state that it has a whole infrastructure and curriculum to support community health workers, but they integrate with the health system. That's one thing. And the other thing is that, which I mentioned, is you can be actually paid through reimbursement through Medicaid. So I think it's a cool model, and we'll see how it works.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, I think good luck with that, and I would love to see how it progresses. Because I think it could be a really great model for a lot of rehabilitation centers.
Yeah, thank you. I know there are some researchers through the Lakeshore Foundation and particularly James Rimmer has a lot of really good research, and it kind of feeds into what. I used to
work with him here in Chicago.
What's that?
I used to work with him when.
Oh, really? Lucky you. That's awesome. I read everything I can find from him. But Ania, is that who was before me?
Ania, yeah.
Ania. What she was talking about is building this bridge between acute rehab, outpatient rehab, and fitness facilities. And how do you get someone on a positive health trajectory versus a negative health trajectory? And I think the work that he's doing and stuff that she's doing, that's the idea, is how do we get people on an upward trajectory versus social isolation and anxiety about going out. So, yeah.
So many good conversations in only half an hour.
I know, right? Are we here half an hour or 15 minutes? I forget.
15 minutes, but I mean, with Ania and you.
Oh, yeah. So. Well, you have a whole day ahead of you. I was looking at your schedule, and, shout out to, let's see, Brook, McCall, and there's Ian Reuter and Ian McKay, all from the Northwest, and Kenny Salvini, I think. And then I also saw Alana Nicholson, which I think I said that wrong, but yeah, I met her at the Craig Hospital, and I always see her posts, and I'm inspired by them. So.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk with her too. Yeah, there's just a lot of cool people. So
good deal.
Cool.
Well, I hope you guys have a really successful fundraiser today, and I posted the live stream on our Facebook page, so hopefully you guys reach your fundraising goals.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I saw you made a donation as well, so thank you.
Yeah. Well, cool.
All right. Well, thanks. And I hope you have a good rest of your day, and keep us posted. Also, I will be posting your social media tags for Oregon SCI Connect, and people can find you on Facebook and all the social medias.
Yeah.
You guys are everywhere. So
cool. Thank you so much.
Of course, we will be sharing that. So hopefully you can get more people to attend your events and support the work that you're doing.
Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. Well, good luck today.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too. Bye.
Bye. All right. I think our next guest is Mona. She might be having a little bit of trouble getting logged in here, but yeah, I think she's having a little bit of issues logging into here. Well, to anyone who's just joining us, we were talking to Ania earlier today, and she talked a little bit about her experience with fitness, and she's a UJAM instructor, does all these like cool dance things and fitness things just to keep healthy. And then we were just talking to West from Oregon in the Portland area, doing some awesome work with connecting people for peer support. And so, like you said, the model of just having people show up at a like a bar or a restaurant, or sort of like the whole meetup type thing, where it's very simple. People just get together and find a place where they can hang out and connect. And that's something that can be replicated anywhere around the country. If you if you are feeling like you want to connect with more people in your own community, why not find a restaurant, a bar, a lounge, a bowling alley, find an activity that you'd like to do, and invite people with spinal cord injuries, with disabilities, family members, community members. It doesn't have to be people with just a group for people with disabilities. And so it's very easy to start something like that. Wonderful. So I think Mona might be figuring it out. It sounds like she's joining via phone, you said?
Yes, she's going to try right now.
Okay. Please be patient with us, everyone. I don't think there's a number. She would need to join through the link, yeah. I can send it to your personal email. Well, for anyone who's interested in making a donation and supporting the work that Backbones is doing, and getting people together, getting people connected, and building a community nationwide, not only with people with spinal cord injuries, but also the organizations that are serving and supporting people with disabilities, family members, care support and support workers, because we couldn't do a lot of the things we do without you, and also healthcare professionals. I think our community is involved. Everyone involved in our community are all of these people, because they make up our community. So if you're interested in doing that, making a donation, the link to do so is in the description of the video. If you look on the description below, there should be a link there. And there's also another easy way for you to do it by texting. So if you open up your a text on your cell phone and text to 71777, and that's 71777, and then in the body of the text, type the word backbones, BACKBONES. That's one word, backbones. And then you click send, and when you click send, it will send you a link, and if you click on that link, it'll take you directly to the campaign where you can make a donation. We're trying to reach $10,000 for the month of September. I'm just waiting a little bit, see if we can get Mona on here.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh my gosh. Technical difficulties were very, very sad. I'm so sorry.
Well, I'm glad that you made it.
I was like, hello, it's not working. So do you want me just to say about me? Okay.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. I know Mona, everyone, this is Mona, also from Oregon, in Grants Pass, Oregon. And she is one of our board members. She's been a board member for Backbones for a couple of years. But tell us about yourself and tell us how you became part of the spinal cord injury community.
So I am a mother of 5. Been married to the love of my life for a very, very long time, 16 years, almost 16 years. Our youngest son, I'm a realtor now. I was a stay-at-home mom. I took care of Isaac, who is paraplegic. And then after, when everyone was old enough, I started working. So I'm in the workforce now. I'm very passionate about helping others. Very passionate about the spinal cord injury community and just getting information out and, raising awareness and, just showcasing. And it's a lot of what Backbones is about and kind of what we believe in is just showcasing ability rather than the things that you can't do. How I became a part of the spinal cord injury community is when my son Isaac was 3.5 months old. He was diagnosed with neuroblastoma. It's a solid tumor in his spine, is where it started, between his lung and his spine. After his first dose of chemo, he was 4 months old around this time. Isaac was paralyzed when the tumor swelled and injured his spinal cord. I can say that story in my sleep. We lived it, and it was a situation to where it completely changed who we were as people. It changed everything about what I believed life was about. We have 2 choices in life when we're faced with tragic events. We have the choice to just move forward and push through and realize, yes, life sucks, but we need to figure out how to get through this. Or you can sit back and complain and do nothing and basically get nowhere. And so that's kind of like the attitude I've developed, just having Isaac as my son, and then going through my own, you know, tragic events in life. So how I kind of got real deep into the spinal cord injury community was I was looking to build a playground at my son's school. Where we live, all the playgrounds are covered in pea gravel. And anybody that knows anything about wheelchairs and pea gravel, it's just not going to happen. You can only get so far, actually not very far before you start to sink. And I just didn't think that, you know, that was a right, I didn't think it was right for Isaac to be able to go to school with his peers and not be able to enjoy the things that the rest of the kids in his school would be able to enjoy, and that would be play. There was only 2 swings that he could use when he was going to be starting school. So I found this out a few months before he was going to start school. I originally wanted to work with the Parks and Rec, and we were working on changing some things, but nothing that was quite adaptable like what we built at Isaac's school. So the first, I think it took us like 4 months. We raised over $50,000 to build the first phase of the playground. Isaac was able to start school and play with his peers and do what everyone else could do. And it was one of those moments to where you just kind of sit back and you're like, whoa, we did this. And it wasn't just me. I say we because it took a lot of people. And although it was my idea, it took a lot of people believing in the idea of, you know, everybody should have the ability to play. So I worked real hard, and it didn't matter what obstacles came my way. It was very important, not only for Isaac, but the way that playgrounds work is that it's not only children that get to play on playgrounds. You have parents that are possibly wheelchair users. You have grandparents, you know, so it's not just children that this playground was for. It was for everybody. And so the entire community just rallied around it because they believed that everybody should have the ability to play. And that's how the Blue Slide project was started and completed, and people talk about it, you know, till this day. And it's something that I always look back on as, you know, one of my greatest accomplishments in life, because not only did I learn, you know, meet people and do great things, but I also learned what I was capable of doing, and that was changing our world, you know, and you know, there's a lot going on in our world today, a lot of negative things that are happening today. And I feel like people are getting it wrong. You know, if you want to make change, if you want to see true things happen, you don't stand on a corner and raise your signs and do all these things. You go out and you make the change happen. I mean, that serves a purpose. There's times where you do need to do things like that, but it shouldn't be your very first thing that you do. And that was one of the things, is like, I started the playground, and there were times when I did want to stand on the corner and scream out all these injustices, like, why isn't this the norm? Why isn't an accessible playground the norm, you know? Not everyone thinks like I do. That's not the first thing that people think about when they get up in the morning, is how can I make the wheelchair, you know, how can I make our world more wheelchair accessible? It's not something that regular people do every day. But for
do that in your community, you know, and it's pretty amazing how you were able to fundraise all that money and like create a space for kids to play and for their parents.
Yeah.
We got cut time on short a little bit because of the
technical difficulties. Am I out of time? Dang it.
Yes, but before you go, like as a parent now, how old is Isaac now?
He's 11.
He's 11. Can you briefly, like in a minute, tell us, you know, what your hopes are now as a parent of a child with a spinal cord injury? Like now that you're seeing him grow up and go through all that stuff. I know that's a loaded question for a minute, but if you could.
Yeah, no, it's okay, because we go through, there's like stages of things that we go through with Isaac. And there are times where he doesn't believe in himself. And there's times where we do have to, you know, pump it into him that he can do anything, you know. And I think that's true with any kid. But if you're an 11-year-old in a wheelchair and you're the only kid in your school in a wheelchair, it's kind of tough. And so, you know, and things change, you know, as he's gotten older, my worries for him have changed. But one thing I always go back to, Reveca, is the time that I think we met for the very first time, and you were getting in your car, getting ready to drive. And I looked at Isaac and I said, Isaac, she can't even move her arms. She can't even do that, and she can drive. And, you know, it was like, his eyes were like, oh, you know, so it was one of the times where he was like, oh, I could drive too, you know? And so, you know, being in the community that we're in, and just the amount of people that are just doing things, regardless of what their limitations are, is really inspiring for me. And I, you know, it's inspiring for my boy too. So although I had the fears like every other mom does, I also know that if I prepared him for the task that's in front of him, and I feel like, you know, he's gonna do great things. He has these great visions of things that he wants to do, and I just can't wait. Just can't wait.
You're an awesome mama, and I love you. And
I love you too. I love you too. Thank you so much. And I really am sorry that I didn't have enough time, because I have a lot to say, but I appreciate the time. And if there's time extra later on in the day, I'll jump on.
Sure. And we will be, if it's okay with you, in the chat box on YouTube, we'll put your Instagram and Twitter information. So if anyone or anyone would like to contact you.
Yeah, it's all turned into my work stuff now, but I still use it for personal too. So I would love any questions or, you know, anything. Yeah, on there.
Well, thank you so much, Mona.
Thank you.
Have a good
rest of your day. Thank you so much for doing this.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, we have up next is Brittany.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey, Rebecca. Hi, Heidi. I see you in there.
So we have intro to, I would like to quickly introduce Heidi McKenzie, who will be co-hosting with me throughout the day. So she'll be doing some of the interviews throughout the day. And just in a little bit, we will be, you know, Heidi will be giving us her background after we talk to Brittany for a little bit. But hello, Brittany.
Hey, Rebecca. It's been a little while. How are you?
Good. It's really good to see you. I actually met you through Brittany, so thanks for that introduction, Heidi.
Yep, no problem.
It was last the No Barriers.
Yep.
Over a year ago.
Yes, it was at No Barrier Summit in June of last year.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I believe Heidi's going to do this interview, so I will let you take over, Heidi.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. She insisted. She's like, I want Brittany.
I want. So, what's your favorite ice cream?
Anything involving chocolate and peanut butter.
Okay, that's my girl. All right. No, we're good. So, let's start off with telling everyone about your history of your dad and knowing about spinal cord injuries.
Yeah, sure. So getting in the spinal cord injury world started pretty early for me, because when I was 12 years old, my dad was in a car accident, And he broke his neck at C6-7, and so from then he's been paralyzed. And we had zero exposure to spinal cord injury or paralysis before that happened. And it'll be 20 years ago in December. So, you know, for me, it was just kind of like this, for everyone, it was this big shock. But I'm from outside of Philadelphia, and when he got hurt, we had access to that city, and there has a really great spinal cord injury hospital still to this day. But for us who had no clue what was going on or what the future looked like, we were in a really, really good setup. And so for me, that really just, it became normal. Like as a kid, I didn't really, you know, my dad got great care, great rehab, great mentors, and great attitude. And together we kind of rebuilt our lives. And he was able to rebuild his independence and went back to work and, you know, all this stuff. So for us, it was just kind of like, you know, for me, at least, it was just became normal. And then when I got to college, I spent my semester in China, and I had a project to explore the lives of people with disabilities, and decided, and I ended up at a rehab hospital, also like a spinal injury or physical rehab, and met a guy who had also had a spinal cord injury, but was at least a paraplegic, but like pretty mobile. And so again, my assumptions were on the basis of mobility, that your quality of life was driven by how much of your body you could move. So I made this assumption that like, oh yeah, like this is the hard part. I wasn't going to underestimate the hard part, but I was like, he should be fine in the end. But when I actually talked to him, he told me he would spend the rest of his life in bed. And I was 20 at that point. And so when that happened, it was I was old enough to think for a second, like, you know, like, why didn't we think that my dad would spend the rest of his life in bed, like considering that my dad was like worse off mobility wise. And it just made me, it was the first time that I really was forced to think how lucky we had been, and understanding how much the hospital we went to and like where we lived and the people we knew and how much that affected us. And so really that's been kind of like the impetus for what is now AbleThrive. It's got that awareness really turned something in me where this didn't have to be this hard. This could be more like, how do we, and I think this is something all of us do in our own ways and lives, but it's like, how do we get to a point where the outcomes of that so many people you guys are featuring today and the stories we know in this community, how does that become the example or the almost expectation of an outcome for a spinal cord injury rather than being seen as anomalies? And that inevitably involves the families as well.
Was China accessible?
So this was back in 2006, and
okay, that was a minute ago. It
was a while ago, and then also like no. Okay. So I can't for it now. Like I'm not trying to bash China here. It was just like back then it was it was tough, but I met like a really cool pocket of people. It's like and really it's that experience is what taught me that I could be connecting with people from a completely different culture, completely different language, completely different backgrounds, but disability was a big unifier. And it's where I understood that, and it didn't even need to be spinal cord injury. There was connections that could be made to people who understood that the world wasn't made for families like ours. And it was a real source of connection, which was something extremely powerful for me too, for like different travels I did later and just like the work we do now.
For sure. And a video of you on your wedding day with your dad dancing. That video went viral, didn't it?
It's interesting. Like I worked pretty hard to get that out. I mean, it did in its own ways. I like to think it went like baby viral like 4 times. Like,
well, baby is totally viral, so we'll take it.
No, well, but I had motivation to get it out because, you know, a lot of the stories where you stand up go really far. And that's, again, nothing against those kinds of stories, but my dad's was about this kind of like emotional, like story of like my dad going out of his comfort zone for me. And so that was something where after I realized how hard it was for me to kind of get that pushed out where it wasn't really going on its own, I was trying to find someone at Upworthy or like all these places. I was like, wait, I want this story shown. I want these stories to be mixed in with all the other ones, because that's a more accurate reflection of what this looks like. You know, some people will have the opportunity to stand and make that stand or walk and make that meaningful, and that's beautiful, but not everyone, and that's okay too. But if we're not showing like the reality more out in the mainstream, then the people who have zero clue about this community are going to be a little bit more like not fully aware of the realities.
That video makes me cry every time I see it. And just so everyone knows, it's a video of Brittany dancing with her dad at her wedding, and they used to dance a lot prior to his injury, and this was the first time he danced with her again, and so it's touching.
Oh,
so cool.
I'm really glad it happened, and we've danced at weddings since, but I would say that the video is 100% authentic and that he had zero interest when that first brought it.
Well, what year was that you had gotten married?
2015.
So maybe you started the whole wheelchair dancing movement too.
Oh, I don't know if you can credit me with that, Heidi. Come on.
Hey, take it. Okay, this is your moment. You get it, okay?
I mean, if even one person danced at their wedding, or someone, a wheelchair user at a wedding, if one single person danced because of that video, then what we did was that's what that video was for. You know, like, because there's so many amazing, talented wheelchair dancers that have been doing their thing for decades, and that's like that. I've never been that kind of dancer, you know, right? Or you know, besides ballet when I was a little kid, but for this is just like letting loose, having fun, and you know, or dancing with your son or daughter, dancing with your partner. Like that's like what I thought should be, except, you know, that's something that people should do if you want to do it. If you don't, that's fine. But, you know, at least the choice that that's possible.
Yep. I love it. Okay. So do you want to talk more about AbleThrive? I know you had just mentioned it, but maybe go into more about what you guys do and what you're working on.
Yeah. So I wanted to share a little bit about AbleThrive and then also our campaign coming up, because both you and Reveca are part of it as well. And I thought that'd be cool to share. But just quickly about AbleThrive. So, and this started off back to my original interest of like, people need more resources. They need them more effective, like more efficiently, and make them easier to find. And so AbleThrive, we have a platform at AbleThrive.com. And we share articles, videos, and products that are we cover life skills, relationships, parenting, activities, and travel. And so can I share my screen really fast? So it's.
Go for it.
All right, I'll just see. So I prepared this so we don't go quick. So this is our site where we cover, here's some of the stuff that we cover. So you can just browse what you like. So if you know you're going on a vacation, you know, you can browse destinations. But what we are really proud of, and this is shared in about 16 spinal cord injury hospitals right now, but anyone can do it. If you sign up for a free account, you tell us, you're prompted to tell us your interests. So this is my account. You can tell us who you're taking this quiz for, your family member or yourself. And then tell us the mobility of your arms, your fingers, your trunk, and your legs. And then what condition you're working with. I will say most of our stuff is spinal cord injury, but since we cover lifestyle, if you're in a wheelchair for another reason, there's no reason we can't collaborate. And then how long you've had this condition. And what you get is you get to your My AbleThrive feed, which gives you something popular, but then really here, I fill this out like my dad's mobility of chest down, paralyzed, and no finger mobility. So if you're interested, for example, we said life skills, we break it down into a just for you section where everything in this section is accessible to you based on the mobility of the people. So everyone here should have some arm movement and no finger movement. And then below it's more from life skills, meaning it's stuff that isn't mobility specific. So we can again collaborate, like navigating workspaces and that kind of stuff. And so we break that down for every category you told us you're interested in. And so that's where we want to, so you don't have to browse things on your own. You can just cut straight to what you're interested in and what works for your mobility.
So awesome. So much on like one page that you know what I mean, you're set. Whatever
Yeah,
you need is right there. And I think video thing, just I know me, like when I'm first injured, you know what I mean? I want to see how other people operate, how other people do things. And, you know, like reading is something totally different than being able to visually see how they do things.
Right.
So that's
and so we pulled together stuff from all over the internet. So organizations, companies, hospitals, bloggers. We have a big AbleThrive ally network. So anybody who does share stuff online and wants their stuff promoted, we try to like signal boost and backlink to whatever's out there, so people don't have to go to hundreds of websites on their own. Because there is great stuff out there, but when you know what's going on, when you're years in, sure, you know, you can dig. You're an expert digger, I think, on the internet.
Yes.
But not everyone gets that. We want to get more people think, you know, with that motivation to do that, and make it easier.
Right. Yep. I love it. And then talk about the worldwide event that it's December 3rd, right?
Yes. So just a quick plug for this because it's coming up. So this is kind of, so a lot of AbleThrive's work, we have, the platform is one side of it, and kind of the other side that we're interested in, and this comes from my position as a family member and an ally, is how do we help bridge the gap to like mainstream society and help develop more people being aware and allies to the disability community, just as much as more of the disability community represented, just living life, and visible, and people understanding that this isn't always the way that mainstream media presents the community. And so one of the ways we do that is on December 3rd is the International Day of People with Disabilities, like a UN day. And 2016, I was like, you know what, this day, I think we should make it be something fun. You know, a lot of disability kind of can get heavy. There's a lot of important battles happening, a lot of people struggling with things that, you know, it needs energy, and that's really important. But I also thought, hey, what if we just took a day to like celebrate and like have a good time? And so Thrive Worldwide was born. 2016, we decided we were going to have meetups around the world on the same day to just celebrate living life to the fullest, getting out and thriving, and as a way to like promote inclusion. Like, hey, we're going to go out and have fun because that's what we do. And so in 2016, we had 4 meetups in 3 countries. Last year, we had 26 meetups in 12 countries, so it grew up a lot. And then this year, we already have over 40 meetups scheduled. Yeah, so we're growing more, and one of those being you, Heidi, in Kentucky, and Reveca, she did one last year and is going to do another in Chicago. So really exciting stuff, but I wanted to at least throw that out there because right now we're gathering people. So a meetup can be really like if you're a part of an organization and you do community meetups and you want to make one on that day, or you have like a spinal cord injury support group or whatever. If you want to have a gathering on December 3rd with your community, like let me know, contact me. I'm Brittany, Brittany at AbleThrive.com. And we'll include you. We'll take your logo and promote you as a partner, and just go have fun that day. And really all we ask is for like photos or a video clip, and like a way that on that day you'll be able to see that so many other people around the world are coming together for the same reason, and build some solidarity that like, hey, you know, we're all living our lives and should take some time to celebrate that.
Yep, because we're all in it together.
Well, you've shared karaoke videos with us, so I should not be surprised by this. But a meetup can be as simple also as just like gathering some friends for a happy hour. Like just after work, it's a Monday this year, just, you know, like some people just go grab a drink or some dinner with friends and get even a small group. And some people meet at a park, or some people, well, last year went bowling.